Good evening, everyone. It is David Schlodhauer here in my mobile home weather office, my weather beacon, actually. I'm not at home right now. I'm actually in between shifts. I'm actually on lunch till about 7:30. So I'm going to spend the most important 30 minutes to discuss with what we're going to be dealing with tonight as far as the potential for some very heavy rainfall that could lead to some flash flood potential. We're also going to be looking at some strong winds as the front passes its way through the region, moving from west to east as these storms typically do. But the whole point of this live stream is going to be addressing the severe weather tomorrow for Monday across much of the Central Valley. We could be looking at some serious concerns here for some very strong winds and funnel clouds with these thunderstorms tomorrow, and perhaps, yes, tornadoes as well. And one of those could be strong given the amount of shear that we're expecting to see out of this. This is a really dynamic storm. We got directional shear. We got a lot of speed shear to deal with here. We got some strong winds coming up the valley right now with decent moisture flux transport into the region, aided by that low-level jet that is pretty strong, running at about 40 to about 50 knots at the moment. It's pretty strong. And that low-level jet will remain strong throughout the night hours, helping, again, to transfer that moisture throughout our region. So it's going to be, the rain chance is really going to get bumped up here in the next couple of hours, and then eventually again throughout the day tomorrow. So without further ado, I want to cover as much as I can before I have to get back to work. Yes. It's a 3 to 12 shift. Who likes working until midnight? I personally don't. And I personally don't like working for tomorrow either. Maybe if the storms could pop up earlier, maybe that will hopefully stabilize things. All right, hopefully the music does not cause me to get copyrighted. There's a speaker right above my head, right there. And it's right on top of my phone, so hopefully YouTube is being gracious enough to not copyright this video or copyright claim it, because I have music in the background which I cannot control. YouTube, okay? You hear me, YouTube? I can't control it. It's through the store music. Happy with that? All right. So let me actually flip the camera around here. By the way, here's a quick look. There is my weather beacon, my home weather, well, my mobile weather office, I should say. I don't think you call it really an office, because this is the break room. All right, so this is what we're dealing with, actually. So I want to show you something. So we're actually going to look at, you know what? Let me see if it's quieter over here. Nah, it's not much quieter. Speaker's really loud tonight. It never is this loud. So, I love these streams. Yeah, and I also am sorry if I was not able to upload a video yesterday. I was extraordinarily busy yesterday. I had 0 minutes to being even on the computer yesterday in my actual home weather office. So I do apologize by that. Sometimes you just cannot schedule. You can't make schedules a week out and expect to nail it every time, especially these days. Just, you know, things that just pop last minute up. So, let's take a look at our low-level jet. Okay, actually, let's go to the Storm Prediction Center. Let's go to the RTMA output here. Let's see. Home. Let's go to meso-analysis. Okay, come on. Let's work here. Let's work. All right. Actually, And there's not a sector that's better. I guess this covers at least enough of our area. So if we go to, let's do, oh my goodness. I don't use this very often, so bear with me here. Let's use, man. Mixing ratio. We need moisture transport. Where is that? Okay, here it is. Moisture transport. That helps. So we can see this low-level jet here really aiding in moisture advection and also warm air advection, overspreading the region, especially in the Central Valley. Let me actually bring this down so you, because this actually, man, tonight's just not my night. Come on, don't slip on me now. Okay, there we go. So I just cannot actually touch the screen, but you can see here, the flow is this way. And I could confirm this because while I was out collecting carts, we were getting fast cloud motions out of the south-southwesterly direction in the low and mid-levels, which means we do have some pretty good wind and moisture transport over this region. So what this is going to aid in is the moisture quality needed for rainfall. And secondly, once we get enough forcing from the west to encroach onto this air mass and get some upslope flow, we should squeeze out some pretty decent rainfall totals, especially in the mountains of the Sierra and also in the coastal ranges. If we take a look at, let's see, heavy rainfall. Let's see here. Yeah, here we are. So here's a look at the total amount of water transport as well. This is P-watts, basically. So down here, precipitable water, 850 moisture transport vector as well. So we can see that we got P-watts right around an inch to about an inch and a quarter, which doesn't seem like a whole lot, but with a system this dynamic, it's not going to take a whole lot to squeeze that all out in the form of some heavy rainfall over the region, okay? And so that's kind of what we're looking at right now. So, but now, what are we going to be seeing tonight? And some of you are probably wondering about that. You know, I did post something on Twitter that we're under an urgent weather statement. I have issued that. That is not through the National Weather Service. That is because my confidence is now high enough for the assurance of that product, and that means significant weather is likely between the time that I posted, between 11 p.m. tonight and 6 in the morning on Monday. And we can see why. If we go to, let's go to about 8 p.m. Okay, you can see over the valley, we have scattered showers, maybe a thunderstorm, because as you do know, we are getting decent warm air advection, moisture advection amidst and owed to that low-level jet that is increasing. So we're going to have some good moisture transport, good dynamics to work with, and we're going to get some moisture squeezed out with these storms. And some of these storms right in here, boy, let me zoom out so y'all can see that a little bit better. See that right there? Some of those yellows. Sometimes the HRRR model doesn't do such a good job at kind of indicating specifically where each cell will pop up. This is kind of giving us guidance that we will be in and out of showers through the evening hours. But I want you to pay attention to something. See this line of heavy rain? Now, while this does not look very well modeled, again, it's hard for the HRRR, the high resolution rapid refresh. This is a CAMS model, a convective allowing model. And this is very concerning. This is some very, very heavy rainfall rates exceeding at least an inch an hour in many spots. When you get a rainfall rates an inch an hour, that's going to cause a lot of small creeks to rise and possibly overflow, river rises, and possibly some flooding as well in our small creeks, streams, river flooding, like I just said, as well as the potential for street flooding, okay? I don't say this very lightly to scare you all. We could be looking at that because, again, dynamics with this system are pretty optimal for this kind of setup with such forcing along that front, that cold front. And this is a subtropical air mass. Today was warm. A lot of you that are in the Central Valley, you agree with me. Maybe not so much in Redding, where you've been in and out of clouds, some rain today. But further south, where we have had a lot of sun breaks today, some good wind mixing or mechanical mixing to momentum transfer, that is, because of the barrier, the mountain barrier effect, we call it. When we get southeasterly flow, we can kind of get winds actually getting undertowed and tucked underneath. So that actually allows temperatures to warm up nicely under sunny days like this. And today, we got into the low 70s in some portions of the valley. Today, personally, where I'm at, reached 69 degrees today. That is really, really warm for mid-February. All right, you don't see that very often. So not only was it warm, it was muggy. It was kind of sticky outside. We had dew points in the mid-50s today. So not just 70, but dew points really warm or really mild. And that means this air mass is truly moist, and it is truly somewhat subtropical in nature since it's coming, since being pulled in from that low pressure system. In fact, if we take a look at that, if we go back, you can see that here comes the second piece. That's going to be tonight. That's going to be bringing our heavy rainfall. This is kind of stalling out, but this is going to get reinforced as that forcing comes in. But follow that moisture influx, that flux of moisture going all the way from Hawaii, getting pulled northward because of this low pressure system. And that is why I'm very confident that we are going to have some serious heavy rainfall tonight. Still, I think it's going to happen. Between 11 p.m. local time in the Sacramento region and about 6 in the morning is when I think the heaviest rainfall will be occurring. And yes, along this line, we will have the potential for lightning strikes as well as strong winds. And of course, rainfall rates that exceed 1 inch an hour, enough to cause some flooding. So going forward here, let's pull that now. Now, some of you in Modesto are like, oh, it's not hitting us at least. You can't rely on the HRRR model exactly. You know, this could change even a little bit from run to run. So just keep that in mind. And why I'm showing you all the 0Z run, because I know the 02Z run just came out. That doesn't show us the whole entire storm duration, because we're not only looking at thunderstorms on Monday, but also on Tuesday as well. And of course, the heavy Sierra snow is going to be something that a lot of you will not be happy with. If going to the mountains, do not do it. If you do it now, then instead of waiting until tomorrow morning, where it just is not going to be a good idea to do the mountain traveling, because it's going to be snowing. So by 10 in the morning, you know there's not much going on, and then watch what happens. Look at this. Sorry, it's blurry. There we go. Look at this. See these storms, how they just pop up like this in the valley? This is what I'm concerned about. We are looking at quasier transient-ish supercellular structures across the valley, which means we briefly see supercells, and they cycle through, then they kind of collapse them on themselves, and then they redevelop, showing that we have parameter spaces that are indeed conducive for tornado genesis within these storms. Not every storm will produce a tornado. That's not a guarantee, but there will be a good handful of storms tomorrow that will produce some hail, some strong winds, and of course, maybe a funnel cloud at least, for the most part, with one or two storms in particular that could produce tornadoes in the valley. Yes, you heard me right. Tornado probabilities tomorrow. And then by 6 p.m., we have a confluence frontal-like boundary that sets up here. And look at that, just kind of sits on top of the same areas. Would you look at that? It just sits and sits and sits. So Tuesday, the thunderstorm threat might be a little bit more tamed than what we will see on Monday. And the reason why for that is because we'll probably have a lot of convective returning, a lot of surface cooling because of the rain that we see. So Tuesday, thunderstorms, but I don't think they're going to be quite as strong as what we will see tomorrow. So now let's take a look at instability, because this is absolutely alarming. Okay, this is, I mean, me and Ethan talked about this last night, and he was pretty concerned about this, okay? So let's go to instability. So what we're going to click on is surface-based CAPE. So what this is showing us is how much energy is in the air for potential thunderstorms, should these storms take full advantage. So if we go forward here, not much instability, some meanger, M-I-N-G-E-R, meanger instability tonight. Okay, I did not say the N-word, so don't twist my words here. I said meanger, M-I-N-G-E-R. It's another way to saying marginal. So there's different words you can kind of put into this. So, if we look at the instability on the NAM 3 kilometer for tonight, it is definitely elevated. That is why once that boundary sets up here, what the NAM and HRRR is, maybe I didn't, M-E-A-G-E-R, okay. All right, sorry. See, I can, if I write it out, I'll know how to spell it, but if I just say it, maybe I miss a word or two. Thanks for the correction. But instability is going to be marginal tonight for storms, and that's why I think once that cool or cold front or that boundary moves through, we're going to have some lightning strikes and some gusty winds. That rolls through, and then look at this. This is... All right, this is 7 in the morning. Already at 7 in the morning, we have instability throughout the valley. That is definitely elevated, 700 to 900 joules per kilogram. That is pretty substantial over the valley. You know, in the morning hours, where the sun comes up at 7 in the morning, and so if we do get a storm that is able to pop up due to some instability that overspreads the region, we could see a brief intense shower or two. Now let's go later on in the morning hours into the early afternoon hours. This is what we're talking about here. Moderate to strong instability over the valley. All the way from, say, Chico, southward towards Modesto, towards Turlock, even Merced. This area right in here, I wish I can get my Epic pin out here and kind of circle, but I'm using my finger, which hopefully helps a lot. This is really alarming, and it's been in the models, been in the models for a while now. And so there is decent confidence that there is going to be a lot of instability. Not a problem with that. Even if we get enough cloud cover, we are still going to break out into enough instability for at least a few strong thunderstorms tomorrow. If it gets sunny for any part of the day, we get more sun breaks like we had today, it's just going to ask for more trouble. That's where we're at this point. So instability, definitely really high. And look at some of these values down here, even breaching 1,700 joules per kilogram. That right there is very high. okay, with a cool air mass overspreading this warm, moist boundary layer surging up from the south. Okay, and then that kind of wanes away by the overnight hours to return again, but not as high on Tuesday, but still on the elevated side, enough for thunderstorms on Tuesday. Maybe a marginal risk for a funnel cloud or two on Tuesday, but I don't even think it's even going to pan out that way. We're probably going to see more weaker storms on Tuesday than what we will see on Monday. Monday has the potential to see at least one strong supercell that could produce many tornadoes throughout its journey. One of those tornadoes could end up being strong, and I don't like using the word strong, but when we look at the 0 to 1 kilometer SRH, it is definitely on the elevated side, especially the 0 to 3 kilometer SRH, definitely elevated, anywhere between about 100 to 180 meters squared per second squared. So we have enough shear with these storms to work with. And then if we go forward, supercell composite parameters, definitely on the high side. We got some numbers up here all the way up to a 6 and a 7. So definitely a non-zero chance for supercells tomorrow. If we go to the tornado parameter, this right here is really alarming up here. That is a 2 to a 2.5, okay, on the supercell composite parameter. And what this tells us is significant tornado parameter, STP for short on the NAM. So what this is telling us is, okay, based on the CAPE, the instability, we got the moisture advection that's going to be in place. Temperatures could get warmer than what the NAM is showing. We reached 68 degrees today. Doesn't surprise me if we make a run for the upper 60s tomorrow. And if that happens, then our instability could be more significant. And then look at our dew points, of course. You can see mid-50s. So everything comes together with enough moisture influx, enough shear that we see in the atmosphere that we will have concerns for a tornado or two in the Sacramento region. Yeah, I said it right. Sacramento region. I don't even believe it's going to happen because we have not seen this before. So this really is it's definitely jaw-dropping to see this. I don't know if I can click on, can I? Darn it, I cannot click on a sounding. I can't get soundings off the iPad because it's click. I have to use my mouse, which I don't have a mouse. But I'll tell you, hodographs are definitely curved. So we have looping hodographs, so that come out like this, similar to the Midwest and the Deep South during Dixie Alley. So that's not a problem. So winds too are going to be something else tomorrow too, anywhere between 20 to even 30 miles an hour in the valley. That's going to be enough to really cause problems for storm organization. And it's not just tornadoes. We also could be looking at some large hails, large hailers, large hail cores within these storms. And we could also be looking at damaging 65-mile-an-hour winds as well with these storms. That does not include non-thunderstorm wind gusts, which non-thunderstorm wind gusts will be in the range of 30 to 40 miles an hour. But when you get these thunderstorms, we could have locally higher wind gusts over 50 to even 65 miles an hour. So yeah, that's kind of what we're dealing with here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to go to Radar Omega. And I want to make sure this is the latest from the Storm Prediction Center. This is right here. This is what is eye-opening. There's your slight risk in the Sacramento area. Let's go all the way from Yuba City, Live Oak, Colusa, Sacramento, Elk Grove. Wait. I thought we were under a severe thunderstorm watch with those yellow county lines. That kind of freaked me out a little bit. Okay, so Elk Grove, got Lodi, got Stockton. By the way, I will not disclose my exact location, but I am within the Galt-Lodi area. So this is where I live approximately. I am right in the middle of that slight risk, and I am not too thrilled about that because I have to work tomorrow, and I am not going to get caught in a severe thunderstorm. Lovely, lovely day tomorrow. This has to happen tomorrow. It cannot wait until Tuesday when I'm not working. Stockton, Manteca, Tracy, Modesto, Siri, down towards Turlock, Waterford, Riverbank, under that slight risk of severe weather. Yeah, I mean, folks, come on. That is just, wow. A marginal is one thing, but when it goes to a slight risk, for a 5% chance of tornadoes, yeah, that is what is eye-popping. That is what is eye-popping. So when we look at that, that's what that is. There is a 5% chance for wind tomorrow. So here's tornado. The tornado risk is a 5, which is significant for our area. You know, a 5% is low relatively, but don't let that fool you, please. Then don't let the percentage think that it's not going to happen, because there is that risk for tornadoes tomorrow. Wind, 5%, and a hail threat. So we have everything tomorrow. Large hailstones of 1/4 of an inch in diameter or larger. We have 65+ mile-an-hour severe thunderstorm winds tomorrow that are possible, along to go with tornadoes that equal to of an EF0 to an EF2 at least. We could see one supercell if it gets well established within this environment. We could see one strong tornado in the valley. I don't use that very lightly. I am being very serious when I mean that. All right, just because, one, I lived in California for 28 years since I was born, and secondly, I know the topography and the geography around California, and I know what I'm looking for here. We get winds that come out of the southeast at the surface. We get mid-level flow and low-level flow out of the southwesterly direction. I see trouble brewing. I just can sniff it and smell it, and it does not look really good at all. So please be weather aware, have your TV on, and look at that. We just got a thunderstorm. So we have thunderstorms popping up already in the valley, right in here of what the model was predicting. Right there, we got some lightning strikes. That is some very heavy rain. Look at that. Check that out. Watch this. Boom. Right here. Some purple colors. The Safeway always closes at 12 a.m. Yeah, that's where I'm at, you guys. And if you want to be specific, I got a minute. I got to get back to work, you guys, in like a minute. Actually, I can't show you guys because there are names on that I do not want to disclose. So I'll disbelieve me. I work until midnight tonight, and I work until midnight tomorrow night. But who knows? Maybe I'll just take the day off if things do get too dangerous, because my life is more important than collecting shopping carts outside. All right. I think, yeah, I've got to go. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in to today's weather briefing discussion. No questions. I got to get to work or else I will get in trouble. I don't want to get in trouble. All right. Love you guys. Peace out, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. We'll probably do another one of these live streams like we did tonight, if not earlier, before I go to work. We'll see about that. But anyways, thank you all for watching. Share, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you back here tomorrow.